Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio from Boise, Idaho. This is your host, Adam Graham. In a moment, we're going to bring you this week's episode of Hot Copy. But I do want to encourage you, if you're enjoying the podcast, to follow us using your favorite podcast software. And I do want to highlight our other podcast. Today, I'm highlighting the Old Time Radio Snack Wagon. Each week, every Monday, we bring you a different snack-sized bit of old-time radio. Each snack gives you a different flavor for the golden age of radio, whether we're talking original audio dramas or comedic sketches, historical lessons, or storytellers doing their finest. We always offer something unique at snackwagon.net. You can find that there or wherever you get your podcast, the Old Time Radio Snack Wagon. Well, before we get into the episode itself, I do want to say I've been doing quite a bit of research on Hot Copy. And one thing I found myself wondering about was whether this was a Chicago program at the time Betty Lou Gerson was in it, and also who played Spritely Poole. I was able to verify, first of all, that the series originated in Chicago. I feel a little bit silly about it because when I was going through, I spent like 2 hours on newspapers.com searching for an article, and finally I found one that confirmed that it was recorded in Chicago. And then I found out that Wikipedia stated it was recorded in Chicago. Well, nevertheless, Wikipedia is wrong about a lot of things, so I'm glad I was able to independently confirm it. Now, this means that Hot Copy is the second program we featured that originated from Chicago. The other is Crime Files of Lamont. And I know that Chicago is our biggest metro area, so that's a special treat for all of you out in the Chicagoland area. And one thing I uncovered, and it was not on Wikipedia at the time, who knows, it may be by the time you look at it, because I'll probably update Wikipedia with some of the other information I came across on this series, is that Spritely Poole was played by Virginia Paine, at least in this episode. And I will talk more about the research I did on Hot Copy, and then also about Hot Copy Radio Theater, which we've talked about last week, but we're going to talk about more in detail this week. We'll also have an interview with Rhonda Sigler-Ware, who plays Ann Rogers in the Hot Copy Radio Theater recreations. All that coming up after today's program, but now, from August 7th, 1944, here is the episode Smooth as Silk.
Oh, Cedar, the greatest name in housekeeping, presents Hot Copy.
Or would you rather be a... Hey, what's this? Looks like an accident or something. Oh, I better see it. Hey, what's the matter? Car in the middle of the road, no light, no answer. Hey, you all right? Anybody hurt?
Oh, chum,
Huh?
Nobody's going to get hurt if you behave.
Yeah, where are you? Where did you come from?
Tibbet, I'll ask the question. Carrying nylon thread in this truck, ain't you?
Why, yeah. No, I mean,
That's
no.
what I thought. Okay, get out.
Out.
You heard me. Climb out of that cab.
Oh, I get it. Hold up, huh? Hijack it. Unless there's government property. You can't swipe
Don't
this
reach
and
for
get...
that gun. I'm warning you. Crazy fool that louses up the work. Hey, Tony, Red, throw this guy in the bushes. We got to get out of here. But quick. And now, before we bring you today's Hot Copy drama, a word from O'Seaver.
As one woman to another, do you really enjoy getting down on your hands and knees and scrubbing the kitchen linoleum? Of course you don't. And you know, you may be scrubbing that kitchen floor much too often. Too many soap and water scrubbings are almost as hard on linoleum as they are on you. And that, as Don Dowd would say, is where O. Cedar Self-Polishes Wax steps into the picture.
Yes, and solves the problem, Kay. You see, friends, O. Cedar Self-Polishing Wax is a truly protective finish. It not only makes your linoleums and all your floors glisten with beauty, it seals them against dirt, dust, and wear. Ends hard scrubbing, makes even sticky spilled things easy to wipe up. And there's no work to using O. Cedar Self-Polishing Wax. Just apply, then let it dry. No rubbing or buffing is necessary. Ask your store for O. Cedar Self-Polishing Wax. Take the irk out of summer work the O. Cedar way. And now, a new and exciting chapter in the career of Ann Rogers, girl reporter, whose newspaper stories are always, in the words of her adventurous profession, hot copy. Today's story, smooth as silk.
Come here, Annie. Lieutenant Flanagan's here.
Hello, Ann.
Oh, Mike, what's all the whispering about? Annie, bumped into something important. Really? What is it, Mike? Not that murder last night, that truck driver?
Oh, no, nothing like that. Ain't business.
But you said it was something important.
It is. I just bought the wife a birthday present. Seeing as it's a female present, I brought it by to see what you two think of it.
Oh, for Pete's sake, is that what it is? Is he? Where's the present, Mike?
Right here. Wait, I'll show you.
Oh, whatever it is, you bought it at one of the better shops. I'll say that label spells class.
Well, I wanted to get something nice, you know. There they are.
Oh, holy Captain.
They okay?
Oh, looks like nylon hose. Oh, aren't they simply beautiful, Annie? Oh, they are. Mike, I'm positively pleased. Yeah, me too. Papa, for those, I could almost be married to you myself. Almost.
Then you think she'll like them?
If she doesn't, she ought to have her head examined. Oh, she'll love them, Mike. Nylons are as rare as hen's teeth nowadays.
Yeah, judging by the price, you're not kidding.
The price, Mike?
$6.50 a pair. I asked the guy if they was diamond studded. Seems like they ought to be at that price. Well, what's the matter, Ann?
Oh, nothing, Mike.
Just what? What do you look at me so funny?
As if you didn't know, maybe. I'm a little disappointed in you.
Disappointed in me? Well, what did I do?
Certainly didn't think you'd buy from the black market.
What's that again? Black market?
You didn't say 5 and dime, Copper.
Oh, but Ann, well, listen, I didn't have any idea these was black market, honest.
At $6.50 a pair?
Oh, well, Carly, I never bought a pair of female stockings before in my life. I didn't know what they ought to cost. I just paid the guy what he asked.
Well, you bought black market without knowing it, Mike. Ceiling prices vary, but nylons used to sell for about $1.65 a pair. Yeah, in the good old days.
Well, them robbers clipped me and the law at the same time, would they? Okay, it won't take me long to settle their half.
Oh, wait a minute, Mike. Where are you going?
To put the pinch in the store that sold me these, of course.
Well, how come they sold them to you in the first place? I shouldn't think they'd be so dumb as to sell to a policeman in uniform.
Well, I wasn't in uniform when I bought them, Spritely. I was off duty.
Oh, I see, in civvies, huh? But didn't you have any trouble buying them, Mike? Didn't they want to know who you were or anything?
No, not a bit about it, Ann. I just asked for a pair of nylons, and he asked how much I was willing to pay, and I said whatever the price was, and that's all. Hey, look, Ann, maybe you're mistaken, huh? Maybe these ain't nylons at all.
Oh, don't be so. No, they're nylons, Mike.
Well, then, maybe they're allowed to sell them again, and you just ain't heard. Huh?
Mike, anyone can sell old stock at pre-war prices. But the government's taking all the nylon thread now. They use it to make parachutes.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's why a black market in nylons is vicious. Anyone who's making new nylon hose these days is stealing the material from our fighting men. Great heavens. Of course.
Of course what, Ann?
What is it, Sugar? Mike, I just thought of something. That driver who was murdered last night, his body found by the road?
Yeah.
Well, what about him? He was transporting a load of government nylon thread, and it was hijacked. Gee, that's right. He was.
Oh, but Ann, you don't think these here stockings was whipped up overnight out of that there stolen thread?
Oh, no, Mike, of course not. Not these particular holes. But last night's theft was one of a long series. But no one's even so much as found a clue to the criminals before.
Before?
You mean you think we got one now?
We found an outlet, Mike. We could have a very good chance of tracing the goods back to the distributor. The distributor is certainly a lawbreaker and maybe a killer, too. All right, Lee, get your hat on, darling.
Why, Annie? Where are we going?
We're going shopping for nylon hose and information. Now, remember, Spider, don't mention my name. If the salesman finds out I'm a newspaper, then we won't have a dog's chance of getting either the evidence or the information we want.
Okay, Sugar Plum. As far as I'm concerned, your name is Susan Plum. Must be Carson's face.
Okay, the shop's right around the corner.
Yeah, you better wait here, Mark. We'll be right back. Come on, Spider.
I'll be coming, honey child. That old black market got me in its
Please, Spider, no wise thing. This may be ticklish business.
Okay, I'll be good. But you don't really expect to make him open up and talk to you, Annie.
No, I doubt that. But if nothing else, we can buy some hose from him.
But Mike's already done that. He's got evidence.
If he didn't know he was doing it, he doesn't have any dope on it. Maybe I can get enough to write the affair up in the column. Make things hot for the boys behind him.
Mm-hmm. Well, they can't kill us for trying. Or can they?
Here we are. You go ahead, Spidey.
Okay.
Good afternoon, miss. What can I do for you?
How do you do? I'm looking for some nylon hose. Do you have any?
Well, how much did you, plan to...
Oh, price doesn't matter. Just as long as I get something decent to wear. I get so bored with these awful wartime substitutes.
Yes, of course. Well, what size, miss?
9.
9. Mm-hmm. Just a moment, please.
Where's he going, Annie? Taking a run out powder?
No, I imagine he keeps them in the back room for safety's sake.
Oh.
Don't you wish they were legitimate?
Oh, boy.
Yes, here we are. Size 9. Would you like to see them, miss?
Yes, if you please. Oh. Yeah, lovely. I suppose they're old stock?
Oh, no, miss. Quite new, I assure you.
Oh, I'm glad of that. The old ones don't wear well at all. Where on earth do you get them? I've looked all over town for some.
Well, we managed to keep a small supply in stock for those who can afford them.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, how much are they?
$6.50 a pair, miss.
Wow. It's a little high, isn't it?
Well, you know how it is.
Yeah, I suppose so. Well, okay, let me have 3 pair, please.
That'll be $19.50.
There you are.
Thank you. I'll wrap these for you. Excuse me, please.
Sure.
Annie, what's the idea of paying cash? You can't prove anything that way.
Well, he wouldn't take a check by now, no. Yeah, I couldn't write one without exposing my name.
Okay.
I'll try to get a sales slip. If that fails, I'll still have you as a witness that I...
Here you are, miss.
Thank you. Now, if I might have a voucher?
Anne, how are you, darling?
Dorothy Vandermeer, hello. I haven't seen you for a long time, Dorothy.
It's been simply ages, darling.
Do you know Spritely?
Of course. How are you, darling?
How you doubt? What's hard?
Oh, that's what you say the greatest thing. Oh, don't you simply adore buying it, Mr. Willows? I think he has the darlingest things. Really, I do. So smart, so different.
My sales slip, Mr. Willows.
Sales slip, miss? Oh, that won't be necessary. If you should find the merchandise unsatisfactory in any way, just return it. I'll remember you.
Mr. Willows, I didn't know Miss Rogers was one of your customers.
Oh, Dottie, Spritely and I are just going to lunch. Would you join us?
Lunch? Oh, darling, I'd love to.
Good. My package, Mr. Willows.
Excuse me. Did you say Miss Rogers?
Yes, that's right. Didn't you know?
Really, Spritely, we must go now. It's nice seeing you, Dottie.
Miss Ann Rogers, the newspaper columnist?
But of course.
Dottie, please.
Everybody knows Ann Rogers. She solved those awful murder cases and exposes all those terrible black markets and everything. Oh, so clever of you, darling. I simply don't see how you do it.
Oh. Well, good day, Miss Rogers. I'm sorry I didn't have what you wanted. Perhaps some other time.
Hey, what next here?
My package, Mr. Willows.
Package? Did you say package, miss? You didn't have a package when you came in here.
No, but I just paid you $19.50 for 3 pair of nylon hose.
Nylon hose? Why, you must be joking, Miss Rogers. I haven't seen any nylon hose for years.
Of course not, Anne. There's no such thing anymore. Didn't you know?
I know that just 5 minutes ago I gave Mr. Willows $19.50 for 3 pairs.
There must be some mistake, miss. Oh,
Why, yes, here's your money lying on the counter. I'm sorry, Miss Rogers, if you were laboring under the delusion we sell nylons here. But we do not deal in black market merchandise.
Why, you mealy-mouthed crook. You're lying. Privately. Never mind. Mr. Willows wants to play a little game. Let him.
Game? Who's playing games, Anne?
Our friend here, Dottie. Very dangerous game.
I'm sure I haven't any idea what you're talking about, Miss Rogers.
No? Perhaps you better think things over. Good day, Mr. Willows. Spritely, coming in.
Anne, darling, wait for me. Are we going to have lunch together? What is this all about? I'm simply bewildered.
Yeah?
Hello, Pete.
Yeah.
Henry Willows.
Oh, yeah, Willis. What do you want?
Listen, Pete, I'm in trouble. Have you heard of Ann Rogers, the newspaper columnist?
Yeah. What about her?
Well, she was just in here trying to buy some nylons. I almost sold them to her.
You fool. How many times have I told you not to sell nylons to anybody you don't know?
But I've never had any trouble before, Pete. Most of my customers are so glad to get me.
Let me think a minute. You, think this doll suspects something, huh?
I'm sure she does. She tried to make me give her a sales slip and...
Okay. I ought to let you stew in your own gravy. But this time I'll save your hide.
Oh, what are you going to do, Pete?
I'm going to make a little date with this Ann Rogers dame. And after I get done discussing matters with her, there won't be no more trouble. We return to Hot Coffee and Ann Rogers in just a moment. Now, a word from O. Cedar.
Shiny, smooth, satiny, sparkling, sunny.
What's up, Kay? Are you reciting the dictionary just for fun?
Yeah, Doc. No, I'm thinking up all the words that describe the grand things Old Cedar self-polishing wax does for floors. Now, it leaves them shining, it leaves them smooth, they sparkle.
Well, that's not half of it, Kay. O. Cedar self-polishing wax is not only a beauty treatment for floors. It helps keep them beautiful, seals them against dirt, dust, and wear. And ladies, this is grand news. O. Cedar self-polishing wax is an all-round floor wax, ideal for use on all types of wood flooring and, of course, on your linoleum and composition floors. Blended at the famous O. Cedar laboratories, O. Cedar self-polishing wax always flows easily, spreads evenly, and it dries shining hard in just 17 minutes without rubbing or buffing. And when you ask for O. Cedar self-polishing wax, you're sure of peacetime quality. The high carnauba wax content that's always been an important part of O. Cedar formula has been maintained in spite of wartime difficulties. That's something to remember. And now, back to Hot Coffee. Ann Rogers' attempt to learn the identity of the distributor of black market nylons fell through when a talkative acquaintance revealed Ann's purpose. Disappointed in not having achieved complete success, Ann does not realize her investigation has stirred the racketeer killers to action.
Oh, Ann, don't be discouraged. After all, you made a good stab at it.
Stab at it. Mike, I tell you, I had him right in the palm of my hand. So Dorothy Vandermeer blundered in and upset everything.
Feather-brained little nitwit.
It was a tough break, Ann. But anyhow, we got something to start on now. That's more than we had before.
Then you agree with me about a tie-up between Willows and the racketeers who killed the truck driver?
It looks like it. Willows admitted them horse he sold you was brand new. Therefore, he must have been made from stolen nylon thread.
Well, then what's our next move?
Report Willows to the Office of Price Administration. You and Ann will be called to testify you bought nylons from him at black market prices.
But we didn't buy him, Mike. The moment he discovered my name, he whisked them out of sight and pretended he'd never even shown them to us.
But don't forget, I got some evidence. 3 pairs. Maybe if we can throw a scare into him, he'll open up and tell us where he got them, Steve. That's what we really want.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be getting going now. I'll see what I can do. See you guys later.
Bye, Mike.
Ludy. Well, that, for the time being, anyway. What's next on the program, Annie? Back to the chain gang for little Spritely?
No. I haven't anything for you to do right now, Spritely. Tomorrow's column type? Yep.
Okay, then. I'll do a little filing.
Filing? Your desk is completely clear.
I mean fingernail filing.
Oh.
Now, where did I put that absorbent cotton? Oh, yeah. Here it is. Oh, I wish someone would invent a chip-proof nail polish, Annie. I get awfully weary of cleaning it off, putting it on, cleaning it off, putting it on.
Never mind, Spritely. I'll get it. Hello, Ann Rogers' office.
Hello, is this Miss Rogers?
Yes?
Miss Rogers, my name is Watson, Peter Watson. I'm with the local office price administration.
Yes, Mr. Watson. What can I do for you?
We believe we run across a big story. I thought perhaps you would like to have it.
Story? Well, of course. What is it?
A black market, Miss Rogers, in nylon.
Black market in nylons. Mr. Watson, listen, I've just been working on the very same subject.
Really? And with any success?
Well, I think so. At least we've got a lead. I believe we found one of their outlets.
Wonderful, Miss Rogers. Listen, let's get together and talk things over. I think I can set you on the trail of a real story.
Well, when?
Well, the sooner the better. How about now?
Well, I can be ready in 5 minutes.
Very well. I'll drive by for you in 5 minutes. Goodbye.
Well, Spritely, we're getting somewhere after all. Come on, baby. We've got a date with a man in 5 minutes.
A man? And me with my nails in this condition? Oh, Annie.
Oh, you can finish him later, darling. Hurry. He'll be downstairs waiting for us.
Just one man. Doesn't he have a friend?
So that's about as far as I got, Mr. Watson. Not very conclusive, really. But I'm convinced there's a tie-up between this business and the murder of that truck driver last night.
Maybe. But your testimony and that of your friend here is the only thing definite against Mr. Willows.
That's right. But we did see the hose, Mr. Watson, and they were nylon.
Well, something must be done.
Yes, the sooner the better. Where are we going, Mr. Watson?
We're not going. We've arrived.
Do you mean this warehouse?
Yes, that's right. Can you guess what it is?
No, I'm afraid not.
Well, Miss Rogers, if our information is correct, this is a distributing center for the black market in ladies' hosiery.
What? Here? In this section of
Why
town?
not? There's no easier place to conceal criminal activity than a crowded business district.
Well, yes, I suppose you're right at that. Too much activity going on for anyone to notice anything unusual. Well, this place is right across the street from the 9th Precinct Police Station.
Yes. And are we going to have a good laugh on the police when we snatch the racketeers right out from under their noses? Well, let's go inside.
Is it safe to go in?
Oh, perfectly safe. Now, go ahead.
Golly, it's dark in here.
Wait until I close the door. Then we'll have a little light. There.
Mr. Watson, why did you bolt that door?
Who's there? Who is it? Okay, Willows, it's just us. Me and the snoop.
Willows. Hey, what is this?
Oh, and you got into something. Wonderful. Now, only listen
Wait a
to
minute.
reason.
You're not an OPA man.
That's right, baby.
Rodney, run for it. Come on.
Grab the noisy one, Willows. And you, baby, stand still before I mess up that pretty kiss of yours. Might as well save your windpipe, Miss Poole. Nobody outside can hear your squawking.
What's the meaning of this? How dare you?
Talks pretty, don't she, Willows? What is the meaning of this? Wait, sweetheart. You'll find out. Tie her up, Willows. But, see, but where? I don't see any rope. So what? Tear open one of them cartons. Oh, one of these over here? Sure. These are stocking. That's right. That's some old rayon stock. Toughest things in the world. Ever try to tear one? Hand them here. See? It makes nice, tight knots.
You racketeer.
Lie down, sweetheart. You're next. You ought to be real proud. It ain't everybody gets tied up in fine rayons nowadays. Oh, that'll do it. Now, if you lay real quiet, them things won't touch your wrists and ankles.
Thank you. Are you quite finished? Maybe you'll be kind enough to explain the meaning of this.
Now, we brought you here to make you listen to reason, Miss Rogers. Placed us in a most embarrassing position. Now, all we want is your word of honor that you'll drop your investigation. Isn't it, Pete? We'll even pay you to forget the whole matter.
Fellows, are you kidding?
Why, no. I thought you said you wanted to discuss matters with Miss Rogers.
Don't be a dope. You can't buy off a doll like this. The only way to shut her mouth is shut it for keeps.
Oh, no.
You
Well, no, you can't. Shut up, I'll handle this. Guess that fixes you up, Miss Poole. I got a couple of the boys loading a truck out back. As soon as it's ready, we're going for a little ride.
You mean you're going to murder them?
I ain't going to play patty cake with them, pal.
No, I don't want to get mixed up in
Listen, stupid. We've already got a murder rap hanging over us. We can't take chances.
No. Selling nylons is one thing, but murder, I'll not be a party to it. I'll go to the police right across the street.
Oh, no, you won't, Willows. Come here.
Let go of me. Let go, I say.
Well, looks like the party's going, eh, Miss Rogers? That makes 3 for that ride in the country. As soon as I finish tying this one up, I'll go see if that station wagon's ready.
Well, Spritely. Well, I can't budge him, Annie. Certainly knows how to tie knots. That's Willows, Annie. He's coming, too. Yes. Willows? Mr. Willows? Are you all right?
I think so. Where is he? Pete.
Outside, getting the truck ready.
Oh, why did I ever get mixed up in this awful business?
It's a little late to think about that now.
But he can't murder us. He'll burn for it.
Yeah, but we'll be dead. Burn. Spritely, my bag. Could you reach it? Well, I think so. Yeah, I got it. Well, push it over here. Okay. A little closer. There, I got it. Now, if I can get it open.
Miss Rogers, what are you doing?
My cigarette lighter. Here it is. Willows, turn your back to me and lie still.
I don't feel anything.
Well, Annie, it doesn't light. Must be out of fluid. Oh.
What are we going to do? Oh, I never should have gotten tied up in this nylon business.
Well, you're tied up now, pal, but good. Only in rayons instead of black market nylons.
Rayons. Cellulose. I wonder. Great heavens, Spritely, it might work.
Annie, what the
Spritely,
heck?
quick, that little bottle in your bag. Can you get to it?
You mean this?
Yes, hurry. Now open it. Pour some of it on these knots.
But Annie...
I know. I'm not sure it will work, but our only chance. Hurry, Spritely. And don't spill it. Our lives may depend on that little bottle.
All loaded, Tony? Good. Keep the motor running. I'll go in and pick up our little playmates and be right back. Okay, kiddies, bedtime. The truck's ready now, so if you're ready too, we'll be... Hey, we're on.
Looking for somebody, mister? What the cop? That's right. Now stick 'em up. Hey, stop. Do you hear me? Oh, yeah. Okay, if that's the way you want it. Bill! Quiet.
You all right, Sergeant?
Yeah, sure. Get those two in the truck.
Okay, Sergeant.
Okay, Miss Rogers. You can come on in now.
Officers, everything... Oh.
No, just wing them. State'll take care of him for killing that truck driver. Well, that's good. Men like that deserve it. What are you doing here, Willows? You're under arrest yourself. I am, but... Officer,
I'm afraid your troubles aren't over yet, Mr. Willows. The judge may go easy on you for the way you helped in the showdown. After all, you did run a black market, you know.
Yes, I know. You say this man helped you escape, Miss Rogers? How did you manage it, anyway?
With a little bottle of nail polish remover, officer. Plain nail polish remover.
Yeah? What good did that do?
Well, luckily, we were tied with rayon hose. Rayon contains some kind of acetate. Nail polish remover contains a stuff called acetone, which heats up rayons.
Is that the truth?
Yes.
Where did that little bit of information come from?
I spilled some nail polish on a rayon dress once. Tried to take it off with polish remover. Mister, you should have seen that hole. Just luck I remembered it.
It's luck these wise guys thought they were pulling a fast one. Locating their headquarters right across the street from a police station. It's nice going, Miss Rogers.
Thanks, Sergeant.
Oh, boy, what a haul. Just look at those piles of boxes. Most of them full of black market nylon.
Annie, are you sure that crime doesn't pay?
Sure, Spritely. Why?
Then let's get away from these nylons fast before I weaken.
You know, when it comes to cleaning windows, you can put your scrub bucket on the retired list and keep it there. There's no reason for any woman to spend endless hours cleaning windows the scrub and rub way when O-Cedar Window Cleaner makes the job so easy, so satisfying, and so economical. With O-Cedar Window Cleaner, you use no water at all, no soap, no heavy bucket, and there's no need for hard rubbing. Just apply O-Cedar Window Cleaner, wipe it off, and your windows are sparkling clean as crystal. You never have to work or worry about streaking when you use O-Cedar Window Cleaner. Its special formula, developed by O-Cedar experts, makes it easy for you to wipe windows evenly without streaks. And O-Cedar Window Cleaner is just as good for mirrors, picture glass, all porcelain and tile surfaces. Once you try it, you'll be using O-Cedar Window Cleaner for a dozen different cleanups. It costs a little, does so much. Hot Copy, starring Betty Lou Gerson as Ann Rogers, is written by Nelson Bond and produced under the direction of Albert Cruz. Irma Glenn is at the organ. O-Cedar, the greatest name in housekeeping, invites you to tune in again next week for another stirring presentation of Hot Copy. O-Cedar is the family name of a complete line of household aids, tested and proved in millions of homes for 2 generations. Keep O-Cedar always in your home. O-Cedar polishes and waxes for cleaning and polishing furniture, woodwork, and floors. O-Cedar touch-up furniture polish for hiding scars and scratches. O-Cedar cleaners for upholstery and rugs and for windows, woodwork, and surfaces of all kinds. O-Cedar hand guard, a skin protective cream to save hands and nails on dirty jobs. O-Cedar polish and dust mop. O-Cedar moth-proofing products to protect your clothing from moths. Remember, O-Cedar takes the hard work out of housework. Here's what women say about O-Cedar.
O-Cedar? Why, that's the greatest name in housekeeping.
Your announcer is Don Dowd.
This feature has been a transcribed rebroadcast from the Blue Network.
Welcome back. A decent case overall, but a case where the criminal chose a dupe as an accomplice, and it wasn't hard for our heroine to break down his defenses. In terms of their escape at the end, the principle of how Anne escaped was actually quite sound. Acetone does eat through rayon. Now, there are some variables, with the main question being whether the size of bottle that Spritely was likely to have in her purse in 1944 would be enough to eat through the rayon. Personally, I will gladly suspend my disbelief on that point. Also, a nod to Spritely for essentially coming up with the demand for gel nail polish 4 decades before it was invented. Now, I will say that having listened to Hot Copy Radio Theater, which recreates episodes of Hot Copy, I did think, at the thought that if there were only 2 episodes of Hot Copy that could have been saved, this would not be one I'd pick. Well, it's not bad. When I first listened to it a decade back, I imagine that a lot of episodes were spent on Anne investigating things with a special woman's angle to it, like nylons. Anne has a keen deductive mind, and this particular case didn't really tax it. And even beyond listening to Hot Copy Radio Theater, what I've read in newspapers indicates that her cases were usually far more interesting than this. This has the feel of one of those wartime stories that was written with the educational angle as a top consideration. Who knows, maybe the PSA angle is why the episode was preserved in the first place. Regardless, it does illustrate the perils of finding a couple episodes of a series and thinking those couple episodes really give us an idea of what this series is all about. And certainly, once again, this was not a bad episode, but it was not a representation of what the series could be at its very best. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the research I did on Hot Copy, and then I'm going to talk about Hot Copy Radio Theater, and we'll feature the interview with Rhonda Sigler-Ware and present a preview clip of Hot Copy. I will say that this is going to be a bit of a deep dive, although I think you'll want to listen if you enjoyed Hot Copy and are hungry for more. And I will say that's also why we're going to talk about Hot Copy Radio Theater. It's not a paid advertisement or promotion by them. I think they just offer a really interesting opportunity if you enjoyed Hot Copy and would like to explore the series further, because usually that's not an option. And I find their approach of taking a series like this and dedicating the podcast to just that one series to be something I appreciate. Now, I do want to go ahead and thank our Patreon supporter of the day, because I want to be sure he gets recognized here before we go too much further. I want to thank Charlie. Charlie's been one of our Patreon supporters since July 2020, currently supporting the podcast at the Shamus level of $4 or more per month. Thank you so much for your support, Charlie. Now, there's a lot of information I could share, but I'm going to try to limit it a little bit. Now, when the series was launched in 1941, in October, Fern Parsons played Ann Rogers, and she was replaced near the end of 1942 by Alois Klummer, who was replaced by Betty Lou Gerson at the end of 1943. Outside of Betty Lou Gerson, those names probably sound very unfamiliar. And the same could be true with nearly everyone involved. There were multiple directors on the series. In addition to Nelson Bond, there were two other writers before him. There was another actress who played Spritely. And when the series started, Ann's sidekick was actually an assistant district attorney. But even if you're an old-time radio fan, I could read off the name of all of these actors, writers, and directors, and you probably haven't heard of any of them. And this is because of the nature of Chicago as a radio town. And it actually had an incredible history in the 1930s. There were many programs that originated from Chicago, Amos and Andy, Lum and Abner, and Fibber, McGee, and Molly among them. In addition to that, they had a lot of soaps which originated in Chicago, and there were very popular anthology programs like the First Nighter program, the Chicago Theater of the Air, the Knickerbocker Playhouse, and Curtain Time. Yet, as the radio networks developed, the pull on Chicago radio talent took a toll. Top talent in Chicago radio would be lured to Hollywood by the promise of films. They'd be lured to Broadway by the promise of stage success and later television. In many cases, being on a national program that originated from Chicago served to get you the attention that would get you out of Chicago. Probably one of the earliest examples of this was Don Ameche, who was a major Hollywood film star who actually got his start in Chicago on the First Nighter program. And there were others. Bob Bailey started out in Chicago. And of course, Betty Lou Gerson would follow the trend and go to Hollywood soon after Hot Copy concluded. And over the years, many of the programs that originated in Chicago relocated so that the stars could do picture work and could also have access to the best guest stars. In addition to that, for various reasons, Chicago-based radio programs have not had as many episodes survive and be in circulation as those that came out of New York and Hollywood. so modern listeners who might gain an appreciation for the performance of radio character actors like Ralph Bell or Howard McNear or Virginia Gregg just don't have the same opportunity with the Chicago talent of the same era. Now, one name that's not completely obscure is Olin Soule. He would actually join the cast of Hot Copy at the end of August of 1944. He had already become the male lead on the first Nighter program and would make that move to Hollywood, where he would become one of these long-standing character actors. I always think of Soule for playing police scientist in Dragnet. He played Ray Pinker in the 1950s Dragnet TV series, and then Ray Murray in the 1960s Dragnet TV series. He was also Batman in animation, and he replaced Bob Bailey as George Valentine in Let George Do It in 1953. In Hot Copy, he played Jeff Warren, a private investigator, and he'd become a major character in the closing weeks of the series. O-Cedar ended its sponsorship of Hot Copy in November of 1944, and instead would sponsor a news program for 15 minutes, something that Billboard described as post-war retrenchment, the idea that it was cheaper to sponsor 15 minutes rather than 30. And there also might have been a post-war mindset in O-Cedar's decision. Hot Copy had really good timing in that it began right before Pearl Harbor, as women began entering into the workplace, and Anne Rogers fit into that trend. O-Cedar might have suspected, with the way the war was going, that women would be exiting the workplace as men returned, and that Hot Copy would not be as relatable to listeners in that regard. We played the only 2 episodes in circulation, and there are 2 others that are reportedly held by private collectors. All of them come from the Betty Lou Gerson era. I'd be shocked if we ever hear episodes outside of those 4. There are so many Chicago radio series that are lost entirely. We're kind of fortunate that 4 out of these 150 plus episodes survive. We'd be even more lucky if we could listen to all 4, but you get the idea. Now, with so many episodes lost to time, that brings me to what Hot Copy Radio Theater is doing. Each month on the 10th, they post a new podcast where they recreate an episode of Hot Copy based on one of the original scripts by Nelson Bond. The series was created by Jim Goodluck. He developed an interest in old-time radio and really got interested in obscure programs. The more obscure, the better, and I can definitely sympathize with that sentiment. He stumbled on a blog post from the jheroes.com site about the series and listened to those 2 episodes that were in circulation, forgot about it, and then ended up coming back to the site 4 years later and noticed that a college archive had 49 scripts and got the idea of, getting all the scripts and recreating them. He emailed the college, and the college was actually supportive of it. They saw no point in just keeping the scripts sitting around collecting dust, and sent him all of the scripts they have as PDFs at no charge. I would interject a lesson here because some people will email me about projects that they want to do about old-time radio, and I will ask, what should I do? Particularly when it comes to dealing with what other people who might have an interest or might be able to control or limit what you can do with old-time radio program. And sometimes the best thing you can do is just ask. Now, the college could have said absolutely not, but you take that risk and you find out. After this, he held auditions, found his cast, and launched the Hot Copy Radio Theater, which has gotten around 75,000 downloads in the 3 years that it's been out. The series won't end until they've recreated all the scripts that they have access to, which will probably take a bit more than a year, but as of right now, there are more than 30 episodes that you can listen to wherever you get your podcast from. And in those episodes, the woman who plays Ann Rogers is voice actress and educator Rhonda Sigler-Ware, who joined me for an interview. All right, well, joining us now is Rhonda Sigler-Ware, who plays Ann Rogers on the new Hot Copy Radio Theater. Rhonda, welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio.
Oh, thank you. I am so happy I get to talk to you today.
So, how did you come to play Ann Rogers?
Well, actually, I had gotten to know Jim through one of his other podcasts, the Forgotten News Radio, the Police Blotter program. And I had done a couple of small roles for him there. I think the one I remember is the Cat Lady. And he had sent me an audition for Ann Rogers, and there were several others. And I got chosen as Ann and have been enjoying it ever since.
Now, we've heard Ann Rogers the last couple of weeks in these 2 circulating episodes of Hot Copy. Now, obviously, you've had a lot more experience with her in the 30 plus episodes you've read and performed at this point. How would you describe her?
Well, she's definitely smart, obviously. She's notices details that a lot of people don't pick up on in order to help solve her cases. And she really is courageous. She's going against the times, in the 40s when this is set, women journalists, although there were a lot of them, they still faced a lot of prejudice, and they certainly wouldn't have been sent into a battlefront like Anne has, where one of the episodes, she's in the belly of a military plane going overseas. And she takes it all in stride, like she's supposed to be there. But back then, that wasn't really a thing. So,
yeah, that definitely very different. Now, you've done quite a bit of stage work. Now, how would you say that acting for radio or doing audio drama over a podcast differs in acting for the stage? And have there been any adjustments you've had to make along the way when it comes to working in the audio drama medium?
Well, I'm really disappointed I don't get to hear the laughter at some of my lines. That's a big adjustment. Obviously, I'm used to people being able to see me and reactions, and, I have very big gestures and things. And so working with audio, although you can't be seen, you have to have listeners be able to see through your voice, like have your voice convey whatever emotion, whatever reaction, what you're feeling. And I still find, and you're probably noticing it now, gesturing quite a bit, although you can see me. I still do a lot of facial expression in order to help, over emote so that it can be picked up on audio. So that's a big adjustment too, being bigger, I guess.
Yeah, not having the audience's energy to kind of feed the performance is a big difference that you've noticed.
Oh yeah, the way in live theater, yeah, the audience can have a huge impact on how the show goes, but when you're recording, you have no idea. You just have to record your lines a few times and hope that one of them sounds okay and sounds like what we're trying to go for the emotion or the tone of the show.
So, as I said, you've recorded 34 episodes. Could you tell us about what your favorite episode is that you've done so far?
I would say that my favorite would have to be Trouble in Tunisia. It was probably, I want to say maybe a year ago or so, and Anne and Spritely are overseas, and of course she gets herself into trouble because she and Spritely are kind of having a banter and playing back and forth, and she calls me princess, which I absolutely hate being called princess. And we get overheard while we're doing this banter. And one of the bad guys thinks that I am actually a princess and worth ransoming. So I get kidnapped, as Anne does, quite often in the show. Anne gets kidnapped, and they're holding her because they think she is a princess of some sort. And part of the reason why I like the episode also is my husband's accent. He plays the character that actually kidnaps me, and he does a hilarious Peter Lorre accent. And unfortunately he does end up dying in the show. Spoilers, but yeah, it's just kind of a really funny episode to me, and Anne ends up having to correct Spritely on some of the things that she's saying about the captors and the people around. So I don't know. It just really stands out to me as being quite a humorous show.
Well, and we'll play a little bit of that as we end the podcast. But Rhonda, thank you so much for joining us today, and all the best as you continue to work on Hot Copy Radio Theater.
Thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed being here with you.
Thank you so much, and it was such a pleasure to talk to Rhonda, particularly after hearing some of her performances as Anne Rogers. And we will close with a clip from that episode. I do want to let you know we will be back next Tuesday with Charlie Chan, and listen tomorrow for Broadway's My Beat. And typically we'll close with a clip of tomorrow's episode, but let's go ahead and listen to this clip from the Hot Copy Radio Theater and the episode Trouble in Tunisia. If you wish to hear the rest of the episode, you can follow the link to Hot Copy Radio Theater in the show notes, or search for Hot Copy Radio Theater wherever you download your podcast from. But from Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.
It's time for Hot Copy, the vivid drama behind the paragraphs of a daily newspaper column. Hot Copy is the absorbing story of a young newspaper woman, Anne Rogers, a smart, attractive girl with a nationally syndicated column, Second Glance, in which she covers many events which other, less courageous reporters would be afraid to touch. Her stories, in the words of her adventurous profession, are always hot copy. And now, listen to today's new and exciting chapter, Trouble in Tunisia, adapted from the original script as broadcast on radio on Sunday, January 2nd, 1944.
Dateline, somewhere over Germany. I am writing this from the belly of an American flying fortress, approaching one of the greatest industrial cities of Nazi Germany. There is no real reason for not telling you the name of this city, for by the time you read this column, all the world will know that Emden was struck again today by the crew of our aircraft. It is no pleasure to our flyers to destroy these cities, but it is a job that has to be done, and they are doing it. Dateline, somewhere in Italy. It is almost impossible to describe in mere words the courage and daring of our American soldiers. Here, in these rugged hills, I have seen them bravely overcome roaring waters, the terrible cold and sleet, and the blistering flame of enemy gunfire, to win positions held by a retreating Nazi army, an army that was once considered the strongest military power in the world. Dateline, somewhere in the Adriatic Sea. We're commandos tonight, flashing across electric blue Italian waters to make a lightning-like raid on the German positions in Yugoslavia. The time is not yet ripe for a large-scale invasion of this unconquered country, but meanwhile, on small boats, our troops are nightly bringing weapons and supplies to the underground anti-Nazi resistance so that they can doggedly continue to fight.
Well, at last. Here we are, Princess, and am I glad.
What's the matter, Spritely? Don't you like flying?
Oh, flying is all right, but the way we've been doing it, in armed bombers, with Nazis looking in every pretty pink cloud to give you a bullet shower? No. I'll take good old terra firma every time, and with more firma and less terror.
Oh, Spritely, what an ancient wheeze.
Why not, honey child? After everything we've gone through, we's ancient, ain't we? Golly, listen.
What's the matter?
Nothing. All that beautiful, beautiful silence. Don't you love it, Princess?
Please, Spritely, don't call me Princess.
Sorry, Annie. I keep forgetting. Well, we'd better be hunting for a hotel, shouldn't we? Or is there such a thing in Tunisia?
Yes, I'm sure there is. With plenty of hot water, I hope.
Hot water? What's that? Hey, you! Soldier!
Yes, miss?
We've got some bags in this overgrown go-kart with wings. Can we get him carried to our hotel?
Yes, miss. They'll be taken care of.
Thank you.
All but the typewriter, Spritely. We'll take that with us. Too precious to take chances with, you know.
Yeah, I know. Okay. I'll carry the crown jewels, Princess.
Spritely, I asked you not to call me.
Okay. Sorry, Sugar Plum.